Hi, I'm James, and today I'm out at Hyak Sno-Park, which is near Snoqualmie Pass, out for a day of snowshoeing and playing in the snow. So I've been doing outdoor recreation for over 25 years now, and I started back in high school. My family came over to the United States as refugees from Vietnam, and in our history and our heritage, I try to bring as much of that out with me when I'm, enjoying the snow or when I'm backpacking or hiking. A lot of their stories, a lot of our heritage and culture as a community and as a family really kind of reflects to how I try to show up in the outdoors. Snowshoeing is pretty simple. It is basically hiking or walking when it's snowing. So I actually started snowshoeing about 15 years ago. Early on, I was very active in hiking, whether it's a day hike or backpacking in the summer. But the window for that is pretty short here in Washington. You have 2 or 3 good months, and then it starts to get darker and colder. So I wanted to keep that going, and that's why I started snowshoeing. I got my first pair of snowshoes when I was about 22. And initially, I treated it like it was any other hiking trip. I put on my snowshoes and I'd go out for, 8-10 miles to a peak or a lake. And it was really majestic, super beautiful, but as soon as I got to where I wanted to go, I would just freeze my butt off. And over time, it wasn't as fun anymore to just be out there in the cold. Since then, I've kind of changed how I approach it. Nowadays, I like to do a lot more gatherings with my friends in the snow. So we'll go out together for just a few miles. We'll light a nice fire where we can and cook a nice meal over the fire. So it's a lot more comfortable. You can stay warm, and it's just a different kind of fun. So I think there's a range when we're out in the snow. It could be as easy as a walk in the park, and it could be as complicated as spending a night or 2 out. I would say for anyone who's starting, find a comfort level that's great for you. I've had to, and that comfort has changed as I got older and as my relationship with the sport and the outdoors has changed. In terms of weather, I am a fair weather snowshoer. So I am not going out when it's raining or snowing or just really blizzardy. I like it when it's calm and cool. A day like today, it's overcast, you get occasional sunshine, and it's just a lot more mellow. I find that the experience is a lot easier for me. So, trip planning. I am a creature of habit. When it comes to being out, especially for snowshoeing, I pretty much go to the same places every year. I really enjoy Gold Creek Basin, which is near exit 54 off of I-90. Today we're at Hyak Sno-Park, also at exit 54. It's a Washington State park. I think the most important thing that folks need to consider when you're out here is you still need a pass. In the summer, it's a different kind of pass, and in the winter you need what's called a snow pass. You can get that at any recreational outfitter or online. That's something you want to make sure you keep with you in your car. When it comes to safety, just make sure you carry your 10 essentials. Things like a first aid kit, a fire starter in case you get in trouble, a waterproof layer or a shell. Those are kind of some of the basic things you'll need when you're outdoor snowshoeing, as well as your snowshoes. If you're a person who normally hikes or backpacks with trekking poles, you could do that out snowshoeing too. Many trekking poles will have like a gasket, a snow attachment that you could plug onto the bottom, and that will just help you from jamming the trekking pole right into the snow. When I'm snowshoeing, a couple things I look out for is you don't want to snowshoe too close to a tree branch or a limb, because what could happen is snow could settle on the top of branches and it could actually be hollow underneath. So if you get too close, you could fall in. And same with when you're close to water or stream, snow could accumulate on the top, and if you aren't careful or if you're not aware, you could fall into the water. So those are a couple things I keep an eye out for. If you get into some more advanced snowshoeing, when you're out in the backcountry, away from groomed areas, being aware of avalanche dangers is important. That is definitely a skill. It's not something you can just eyeball. So if it's something you're considering, definitely do a little bit of research on what type of avalanche safety skills you will need in those types of conditions. In terms of gear, generally most people will want to bundle up. Right now I'm wearing a fleece layer, and that's helping keeping me warm. I also have a pair of waterproof boots that I like. It's really helpful, especially if it's going to be kind of wet or powdery in the snow and it might sink in. It'll just help keep you warm and dry. I have a pair of snowshoes that I will bring out when it's a lot more powdery than it is today. I'm happy to show you how to put it on in a moment. And if the snow is really packed or the trail is groomed and you're not going to sink in too much, I will just bring a pair of yak tracks, things that can attach to your boots, just to help you grip a little bit better so you're not slipping and sliding out on the trail. When it comes to clothing for snow sports or snow activity, you want to use a layering system. So it usually comes in 3 pieces. First is your base layer, and that's what is going to be right next to your skin. Typically you want to wear something like wool or something that's dry fit. So if you are sweating, that moisture is evaporating. It'll just keep you warmer and drier in the long run. The second layer is known as the insulating layer. Oftentimes that could be a down layer, like a down jacket, or a fleece layer. Either will do. Generally, fleece will be better if it's wet or raining outside because it will still insulate when wet compared to down. And then your third layer is your shell, and that's your outer layer. That's going to be like a waterproof jacket or anything else that will keep the rain and the wind away from you. So all 3 layers work together when you're out here to keep you warm and dry. So we've got a few different pairs of snowshoes to show you. Now, when thinking about the type of snowshoe you want, the most important thing is the length of it. Basically, the longer a pair of snowshoes are, the more weight it can help distribute. So it has nothing to do with how tall or short you are. It's really all about the weight. A shorter pair will be able to disperse less weight. A longer pair can disperse more weight. It will change depending on like what brand or what manufacturer you have. So just check their websites. It'll give you a rough idea on what length you need. But here are a few pairs. Which one do you want to wear?
I'm going to wear the black ones.
Okay, I'll put these on. So you've got 3 straps on these, Siobhan. The first 2 here will just go on the top of your boot, and the rear strap will go around the heel. So once you're ready, you can just slide your boot into the snowshoe. And if you have a hard time, you can just, kind of kick your foot forward.
Okay.
And then cinch it up.
How far forward?
So there's a little opening right here.
Mm-hmm.
You want enough room for the toe to like bend down as you walk. It'll just help with the natural movement.
Okay. Pretty tight?
Yeah, you want it tight enough that it's not gonna like wiggle around.
All right.
Now we've got our snowshoes on.
Yes.
Let's start walking.
Let's do it.
So earlier I mentioned when I'm out here, I try to bring my heritage, my history, my culture out with me. And And what that looks like for me is to be with the people I care about, my family, my friends, over a meal. So whether I'm day hiking or out in the snow, the best moments are when we're sitting over a fire or having lunch or dinner together or just cooking outside. Those are some of the best memories and best experiences I have. And that's really what makes the outdoor a worthwhile experience for me and why I keep coming back every year.
Together, yeah.
I know. No fire this time though.
I know, that's so sad. All right, James, this is our second snow trip that we've done together. Last year you took us out, so could you tell everybody the story about our first snow trip?
Yeah, last year was pretty magical. We had gone out to Gold Creek Basin, and it was a full moon snow trip. So I think we went out in the evening. It was pretty clear, pretty beautiful out, and a group of us hauled out some firewood, a fire pit, and just kind of had a fire going all night near the pond, under the moon. So I thought it was a really great time, and it was the first time that you had gone out with me, and I hope you liked it.
Yeah, that's why I invited you, because I think the beauty and the magic of that trip was you also supported so many of us with the gear. And I think of that as your contribution to this BIPOC community. You brought several other BIPOC folk that had never gone snowshoeing and was able to provide the gear. So I just wanted to say thank you, but also what makes you do things like that?
Yeah. For me, it's been really important to get more people of color and communities of color engaged in the outdoors and this passion that I have. When I was growing up and starting this out for myself, I didn't have any role models or mentors or anyone kind of coaching me on how to do it. So I made a ton of mistakes, all the mistakes you could think of, I've definitely done. And now I'm at a point where I really want to share the experiences and make it as easy and accessible for my community, for communities of color, and families who want to be out here. I've heard from many people who haven't had these experiences, some anxiety just about being out here, whether or not it's going to be easy for them, what the barriers are. So to the extent possible, I'm trying to help ease people into it and make it as fun, enjoyable, and also let people know that it doesn't have to be what you see in the movies. Not everything is super technical or super difficult or adventurous. Sometimes it's as easy as going for a walk and being out in nature with people that you care about.
Awesome. The other thing I've really appreciated over the last year, you've also started just being more vocal of sharing stories. So can you share with us a little bit more about storytelling and your thoughts around people of color sharing stories of nature?
I've definitely been a lot more interested in collecting and sharing those stories. One memory that I have in particular was a Mother's Day that my sister and I had planned, back in May. And up until that point, every Mother's Day, my sister and I would get our mom some gift, a sweater, a photo of us, and she was like, yeah, whatever. Put it in the closet, never see it again. So this one Mother's Day, we did a family getaway, and it was to Fort Flagler State Park. We rented one of the vacation homes on the park, and my mom loved it. She loved walking along the beach, collecting seaweed. She just wanted to come back every year and bring our family. And it was at that moment that I just realized how important nature was to her. I had never seen her out in nature up until that point. And it was a story that I just wanted to collect and keep with me forever. And ever since then, I wanted to collect more and more stories from her, from my family, from my friends about what their experiences are in nature and the outdoors, just so I can preserve and share to others.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this, and more to come. All right.
Thanks.